Hello, good afternoon. My name is Rindang Widuri and I will be presenting our paper titled The Use of Unified Theory of Acceptance and Use of Technology in the Adoption of M-Payment. The development of Internet technology in the last 20 years has undeniably brought many benefits to its users. For example, in terms of communication, information dissemination, lifestyle, and distributions of goods and services. In Indonesia itself, the percentage of Internet users has reached 56% of the total 268.2 million population of Indonesia in 2019. Mobile phones, especially smartphones, are arguably an important element that unites communication and entertainment functions. On the other side, at present, retail banks are not the only dominant players anymore in the financial services industry. Users of online shopping applications now cannot only pay by debit card or credit card because they can also choose to use, for example, PayPal. Novice business people have other funding alternatives in the form of peer-to-peer lending, which can be also accessed online. Therefore, the financial service industry is currently moving towards the era of digitalization. The procurement of payment services in Indonesia is supported by Bank of Indonesia through the National Non-Cash Movement campaign. This movement began in 2014. As well as an innovation in the payment system, a company must be able to recognize well the needs of its users. Understanding of customers will be able to help understand the achievement of maximum performance in providing the best service for customers. One type of business created to meet the needs of the community for more practical financial services is known as financial technology, or abbreviated as fintech. This term is used to refer to all products resulting from innovations which are a combination of financial services and information technology. Fintech allows payment transactions that initially have to be done face-to-face with a certain amount of cash to be possibly remotely within seconds. On a macroeconomic scale, non-cash transactions make the economy more efficient by making the handling processes undertaken by business and governments more transparent and accountable. The study aims is to examine the level of user acceptance of the M-payment application using the perspective of the Unified Theory of Acceptance and Use of Technology, or UTAUT. The author decides to use UTAUT after comparing several other alternative theories or models, and it is found that UTAUT is considered to be the most comprehensive and can describe in detail the context of technology acceptance in Indonesia. Until now, there is limited research that measures the level of acceptance of fintech products. In this case, is M-payment. Research that studies the intention and actual use of M-payment as a means of payments in Indonesia, especially in Jakarta, Bogor, Depok, Tangerang, and Bekasi areas or Greater Jakarta, is also limited. And therefore, there is a question whether the performance expectation, effort expectation, social influence, and facilitating conditions influence the user's intentions behavior to use M-payment. The following is the development of financial technology that it started from 1950 up to 1990s. Nowadays, one of the most widely used fintech products in Indonesia is mobile payment, also known as M-payment, which refers to financial service product that can be accessed via mobile phones. And over the past few years, M-payment has shown rapid growth. Developed countries, which are the center of M-payment progress, issue Google Wallet and PayPal. And with the tight regulations of foreign companies in Asia, local fintech companies are also developing in China, such as Alipay and WeChat Pay. Unified Theory of Acceptance and Use of Technology, or UTAUT, is a model that is developed by Pengantar in 2003. And this model is combining 8 previously developed theories with the aims of measuring the level of acceptance and use of technology. The aspects discussed in the UTAUT include performance expectancy, effort expectancy, social influence, facilitating conditions, behavioral intention, and the actual use of system. This model also has 4 moderating aspects such as age, gender, experience, and voluntariness of use. The following is the recent previous studies that use UTAUT as their underpinning theories. The first one is Camilleri in 2019. She examined the user acceptance of e-government services in the form of government agency web pages using the UTAUT approach. And the result of this study indicate that this model is suitable for analyzing problems related to technology acceptance. And UTAUT constructs such as performance expectancy, effort expectancy, social influence, and facilitating conditions have a positive influence on the ability to use online-based government services. And the second study that was conducted by Mark Sam Conrad et al. In 2015 used UTAUT to measure the actual use and adoption of intergeneration tablet PC technology. As a result, only determinants of effort expectancy and facilitating conditions that affect positively after going through gender, age, experience, and voluntariness of use moderation. The third study, conducted by Kachin in 2014, used UTAUT to measure the level of acceptance of the webinar systems by students. The result of this study indicate that interest in using a webinar system is directly influenced by 3 of the 4 independent variables of UTAUT, which are performance expectancy, effort expectancy, and facilitating conditions. According to Pengantar in 2003, performance expectancy is defined as the level at which a person believes that using the system will help him or her gain profits at work, and the higher level of trust someone uses the system will help him or her get better performance, and it is considered to be a very high perception of performance expectation for the systems. In 2016, Pengantar states that performance expectations have the most significant influence compared to other 3 variables. And research with similar result by Kachin in 2014 states that performance expectancy has the most significant effect on the acceptance of tablet PC technology along with 2 other variables, effort expectancy and facilitating conditions. And users who have high level of performance expectation are considered to have a good perception of the payment service system. This indicates that there is an opportunity for users who wish to use the payment service system. For this reason, performance expectation can affect the user's intention to use the payment service system. Therefore, our first hypothesis is performance expectancy influences the user's behavioral intentions on the payment use. Effort expectation is defined as the level of ease of use of the systems. Someone's perception of the ease of using a system is often regarded as something that tends to affect the desires of individuals using the system. A user who has a high level of effort expectation is considered to have a good perception of the payment service system. Another study found that Effort expectations were a key determinant in his research regarding internet banking acceptance in Arab countries. The results of the study indicate the existence of user interest to use the system with the condition that the level of ease that users can accept. For this reason, effort expectation can affect the user's intention to use the M-payment service systems. So therefore, our second hypothesis is effort expectancy influences the user's behavioral intention towards the M-payment use. And social influence is defined as the extent to which a person feels that other people considers important, believe that he must use a new system. This happens because an individual's behavior is influenced by the way the individual believes that others will see it as a result of the use of technology. Study conducted by Mustaqim in 2018 regarding the factors that influence the intention to use an e-commerce site. Social influence is the only one among other UTAUT constructs that significantly influences the intention to use an e-commerce site. Another study indicates that measured the level of acceptance of e-government system produced the same conclusions. So therefore, our third hypothesis is social influence influences the user's behavioral intention in the M-payment use. Facilitating conditions are defined as the extent to which a person believes that the infrastructure and facilities that exist to support the intention of individuals to adopt technology. The level of trust can be set as the magnitude of one's perception of facilities that support the intentions of individuals to adopt technology. A user who has a high level of facilitating conditions is considered to have a good perception of the M-payment service system. This indicates that there is an opportunity for users who wish to use the M-payment system. So therefore, our fourth hypothesis is facilitating conditions influence the user's behavioral intention towards the M-payment use. The research object used in this study is all mobile payment services or M-payment, which are financial service products that can be accessed via mobile phones in Indonesia. And this research distributed online questionnaire using Google Form. And this study adopted a questionnaire statement developed by Pengantar in 2003. Sampling technique used in this research is purposive sampling method, and the sample used were 102 respondents who live in the areas of Greater Jakarta and have used the M-payment systems. In this study, researchers used multiple linear regression analysis. So this is how the study measures the variable. The first variable is performance expectancy. Is measured by perceived usefulness, job fit, relative advantages, and outcome expectations. And the effort expectancy variable is measured by perceived ease of use, complexity, and ease of use. And social influence variable is measured by the subjective norm, social factors, and image. And then the facilitating conditions is measured by the perceived behavioral control, facilitating conditions, and compatibility. And behavioral intentions variable is measured by the system use consistency. Descriptive statistical results on respondents indicate that the proportion of research respondents by gender is 41.75% or percent of 42 respondents were male, and the rest is female. And the proportions of domicile of respondents, and most of the respondents, which is 56.31%, came from Jakarta, and 18.45% from Tangerang, and the rest from the Bekasi, Depok, and Bogor. And based on the age, of the respondents, there are 57.3% age in the range of 19 up to 25 years. Prior to test the hypothesis, the study tested the data obtained from the questionnaires to ensure that the data to be processed was valid and reliable. The result of the reliability test, as indicated in the presentation, that the data is reliable because the Cronbach's alpha value is above 0.6. And the validity test in the presentation showed that the research instruments were valid. In addition, the study also conducted normality, heteroscedasticity, and multicollinearity tests, and the result of this test indicate that the data met the criteria. The results of the calculations of the coefficient of determination in presentation shows that the adjusted R-square value of 0.696, and this means that the independent variables are able to explain the dependent variable by 69.6%, while the remaining 30.4% can be explained by other variables not tested in this study. Simultaneous significant test, or F-test, is used to test whether there is a simultaneous influence between all independent variables on the dependent variable. If the significance value is less than 0.05, then the hypothesis is accepted. And based on the results in the presentation, it shows that the significant value obtained is less than 0.05. It means that the independent variables, which are performance expectancy, effort expectancy, social influence, and facilitating conditions, have a significant influence together on the dependent variable behavioral intention. A partial significant test, or t-test, is also used to determine whether the independent variables performance expectancy, effort expectancy, social influence, and facilitating conditions have a significant effect partially on the dependent variable behavioral intention. And the results of the hypothesis testing, as can be seen in presentations, its significance shows that less than 0.05. Based on the t-test results from the previous slide, we can conclude that performance expectancy influences the user's behavioral intentions on the in-payment use. And the results of this hypothesis test support the previous studies. For example, studies that were conducted by Camilleris and Liviana Cabanilas in 2019 and in 2014. And although most studies show the magnitude of the effect of performance expectations on interest in use, not all studies have the same result. For example, research by Mustaqim in 2018 regarding the acceptance of e-commerce in the fashion sector shows that performance expectations do not significantly influence the behavioral intentions to use the e-commerce. And for the second hypothesis, we can conclude that effort expectancy influences the user's behavioral intention towards the end-payment use. The results of this study contradict with the research of, for example, Maxam and Conrad in 2015. They studied the acceptance of tablet PC technology where effort expectancy had no significant effect on behavioral intention. However, the results of this hypothesis test are in line with other previous studies. So we can conclude that if a technology can be easily learned how to use it, and someone will be more motivated to use the system. Regarding the third hypothesis, and the test results show a significant value, so it can be concluded that social influence influences the user's behavioral intention in the M-payment use. An older study by Kachin in 2014 proved that social influence doesn't significantly influence the interest in using technology. Several similar studies, such as Oliveira in 2016, gave the same results as this study. And the social influence significantly influences the intention to use. Another study, for example, conducted by Mustaqim in 2018, also shows that only social influence factors that have a significant effect on the emergence of the intention to use e-commerce. In the end, someone can be motivated to try something because of the influence of the people around them. And for the fourth hypothesis, we can conclude that facilitating conditions influence the user's behavioral intention toward the M-payment use. These results contradict with Al-Kaisi studies in 2015, who studied the acceptance of internet banking technology in 3 Middle Eastern countries. The findings from Al-Kaisi's research prove that facilitating conditions do not significantly influence the interest in using the system. The same results were obtained in the study of Atikwe, Yevio, and Ado in 2014, who studied the acceptance of information technology in elementary schools. However, research by Mustaqim in 2018 didn't show the same result. These different results are probably caused by differences in the products that are the subject of research and the types of respondents chosen. Facilitating conditions have a significant influence on most studies. Someone will be more motivated to use technology that is easily accessible and has supporting facilities if they need help. Looking at the current condition of M-payment in Indonesia and the results of the study, it can be concluded that the facilitating conditions indeed have a significant effect on the interest in using M-payment. Okay, now we have reached the conclusion section. And the aims of the study explain that performance expectancy, effort expectancy, social influence, and facilitating conditions affect the user's intention to use of M-payment. And the results show that the independent variables of UTAUT can be used to predict the user's interest in using M-payment by 69.9%, while the remaining is explained by other variables that are not covered in the study. Therefore, the next research is expected to be able to test this variable. Further research can also examine moderation variables such as age, gender, and voluntary use of M-payment. Another limitation is there is a large difference in the number of respondents who live in Jakarta with respondents from other regions, which reach 55%. In other words, the sample use has the possibility of not being fully representative. And further research is expected to cover more cities in Indonesia since there are different conditions such as the quality of internet connections or the purchasing power. Thank you for listening.